Well, we are moving on to our next story on urban debate, and this is a story coming from Tamil Nadu, where there is major outrage now over an acquittal that is given to a 17-year-old man. And this man is a rape accused in a case where a 12-year-old girl was raped and murdered. Police arrested the 17-year-old boy from the same locality for allegedly committing the crime and lodged him in a home for children, which is, by the way, in conflict with law. In its verdict on Tuesday, the sessions judge acquitted the accused, citing that the prosecution could not build up the case, it could not prove the charges against the accused. Now, this has led to a major outrage over this issue. The acquittal, in fact, has raised several questions on how the investigation was done into this case and how the criminal justice system clearly worked in favor of the accused. Let me just go across to our correspondent, Pramod Madhav, joining us on this story. So, Pramod, I want an understanding from you on what really transpired in this case, that what is the reason today that people are angry that here is a 17-year-old man who got off the hook probably because the prosecution did not do a thorough job.
That is absolutely true. And the first and foremost thing is that the people are angry because where is justice for the victim? That's the question that is being raised. Because imagine this is a 12-year-old child who was found in her own home, like by her mother who had just returned from work. And on the floor, she was lying, bleeding. And before they could do anything, she was pronounced dead. And it was a complete kind of like atrocity that the entire village had to bear at that point. And they were hoping that some sort of justice they would acquire from the fast track court. But apparently, imagine for their shock that based on the evidences that were provided, the court comes forward and says that this is lack of evidence and nothing can be proved on it. And not just that, it's the accused's counsel who actually asked about where is the fingerprint? Was there any fingerprint that was lifted from the crime scene? And the police could not submit anything at that point. Especially when, it is being said that the child was, as per police, the child was apparently electrocuted to death, but no fingerprints was removed from the wire or the plug point at that point. So these are the questions that were put forward by the court, and it is in the order copy. And this is what it's in the public forum, and the questions are being raised by the general public as to how could such a very important case be handled in such a lethargic manner. The state has to definitely answer, and we are expecting that a higher appeal and more investigation would be done on this case soon.
Right. So, Pramod, if we can just recount what exactly happened, and here is a 12-year-old girl, minor, who was found dead at her home. She had multiple injuries all over the body. Electric wire apparently was shoved in her mouth and nose. Now, when we say that the only accused that was arrested is acquitted in this manner, that just leaves us completely perplexed. What does it mean? Who committed this crime? Who did this?
Well, that's a very big question, and not just that. The family members and everyone are alleging that, several people must be involved, and the police apparently could not do or did not do any investigation at that point. Imagine this crime happened on April 16th of 2019. Now it's 2020, almost 18 months gone, and there is no development anywhere. So that's the reason several questions are being asked about it, and these questions are being directed to the state government itself, because the police department falls under the chief minister. Imagine the case had only one eyewitness, and that eyewitness is still very much ready to go ahead and testify, but the eyewitness count was not taken because the eyewitness stated openly that she had gone over there for defecation, and the court has asked why she had to go there when there was a bathroom in her place. Now the eyewitness has also given a response to it, which was not recorded in the document. The eyewitness has said that the bathroom that was constructed in her place was under a prime minister's scheme, and it was not done properly, and that's the reason not just her, several family in that area only opt for open defecation. But this apparently was not properly recorded, and because of this mistake, that eyewitness account was not taken, and that seemed is being said as one important reason the accused was let go of. Now the questions are being directed to the investigation team as to what kind of job they have done with it. Collecting evidence is one thing, but producing them in order. Imagine, if the accused counsel could come forward and say that fingerprints were not lifted from the crime scene. Imagine how big issue that is.
All right. So clearly, Pramod, the story that you're bringing to our notice is absolutely shocking at various levels. And of course, we are used to hearing this kind of absolute horror, stories of how women are brutalized. But this is again also raising question on our criminal justice system, because that is the only hope we have, that these girls who are being brutalized can at least get justice. But where is the hope when you see something like this happen? Now, you made a very important point about how the witness, who there was an eyewitness in this case, and that is extremely important, but for one reason or the other, the prosecution simply could not capitalize on the fact that this witness saw the accused at her place. Can you help us understand why is it that this witness did not work out as a strong enough evidence in this case against the accused?
Well, the thing is that, like, when such eyewitnesses are being brought forward, a proper recording of the statement must be done. Imagine at several cases, the eyewitnesses will turn hostile, but this particular person, she has remained firm with her statement, and she still claims that around 3:30 p.m., at the time of crime in that house, she saw this person rushed out of the place. The harsh part is that the accused is actually a neighbor of the child, and he just rushed to his house. And what has occurred is that the witness has claimed that there is a barren land outside the house, and she was on her way to openly defecate. That's a very big issue here. Several people in that area opt for open defecation, and actually the council, when examining, she had said that, but continuation of that statement was not done. And that we could very clearly see that 34-page court document, which we meticulously read. Unfortunately, several gruesome information was provided on that document, and in the document,
Right.
with this itself, her statement was closed. But she has come forward and said that only she had to go for open defecation because the restroom that was constructed in a place was not properly done. That part was not recorded, and unfortunately, because of that, that witness was not accepted by the court.
Okay. Yes. Right. So, Pramod, like we always say, that after all, the courts are tied down to the evidence produced before it. It cannot work beyond that purview, and therefore it is totally the prosecution's responsibility to build a watertight case, which probably did not happen. Thanks for joining us with your inputs. Let's now quickly move on to the other big issue that we are focusing on here on Urban Debate.